everybody drops that.
Who are you on? Your club!
I said drop a bomb, Dad.
What is going on, people? Your boy is back on the road already, heading to set. It's early, that's the main thing, but listen, no excuses, stay locked in, you know you got to do the job regardless. So let's talk about it, because I'll be on set all day today. I try and probably step away to make little videos, but I got to talk about, well, the breaking news really. Kobbie Mainoo is basically said to the club, I want a loan. I want to go on loan. I want minutes. I need to play. Getting knocked out of the Carabao Cup doesn't help him, obviously, because if it's a World Cup year, these guys want to play football, and a lot of these players want to play. Like that's the excitement of, you know, when you do have a professional player that sees his career and sees his international part of his career serious. You know, obviously, no shade to some of the other players that are not thinking about playing in this World Cup year, but I understand it right now. You're saying you're competing with Kobbie Mainoo is basically competing with Bruno Fernandes for a starting space, and he doesn't want to risk it. This guy is basically saying, look, I'm not seeing the chances of really starting and getting selected. Kobbie has to have a great season to play for England. Simple as that. There's players like Wharton, there's going to be a couple Arsenal players here and there that might be sneakily getting into the squad as well. If he's not playing regular football, and the type of football we're talking about as well, where he's playing, you know, like 15 minutes here and there, is not going to get done. Kobbie got into the team purely because he was playing over and over again, and you could see what he could offer to the England setup. Now, if it's the old manager, if it's Southgate, you can probably say, you know, he might have a chance, because Southgate knows what his game's all about, what he can do. I don't know. Kobbie's hasn't done enough to be selected on the international stage, and this is why I'm going to drop a video about Amorim today as well. Because I just think it's necessary, because obviously there's been so much pushback from well, I say online, really, people getting upset, you know, saying we should back the manager regardless. It doesn't matter what you're seeing, this, that, and the other. You're seeing a lot of that stuff. I'm going to do a pros and cons and really break it down. But for me, this is this Kobbie feeling this way is negative. It has to be said. You're talking about one of our brightest young talents. Yeah, and people can say what they want. They can rephrase it and act like, yes, he had a horrible season last season, but then the season before was phenomenal. The season before, this is someone that breaks into the England team and goes to the final and really was one of the leading guys. I'm telling you, a guy that scored the main, like, he scores in the final of the FA Cup. The guy was instrumental in that midfield, and now we're trying to convince ourselves that he's a bad player because he can't get into a two-man pivot. But then how many people are doing well in that two-man pivot? That's the question we always want to know. Like, even our boy, when we break it down, when we talk about the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Ugarte, all these guys, and people that played more minutes, how are they doing? It's about rhythm and timing and stuff, and you're seeing like Sesko struggled in that game, and other players are going to struggle. Why? Because you need time, you need rhythm to play in these games, especially in midfield, in our midfield, with what the manager's asking for. Now, I've heard Man United are not listening to anything. Like, they're not accepting this loan thing. They just don't want to do that right now, and they need to stay strong. They need to stay strong, because I don't think we've done enough in the window in terms of midfield to allow Kobbie to go on loan, which is a shame, you know. So you got a player that is, I don't think he's probably getting his value in terms of how much he should be on, really, and he's not playing. You're building an unhappy player there, and if he doesn't get selected for England, it'll be a damn shame. You know, it will be a damn shame. But End of the day, Kobbie has to do something. He has to fight for his space. But then we have to make sure the fight's going to be fair. You know, you talk about other players in the past where, you know, Sancho and Anthony fight under Ten Hag. A lot of people said, listen, the fight was a fixture in the beginning because there was no way he was dropping Anthony. And I can hear that comment in a bit. But then my thing is now, if you are fighting with Bruno Fernandes for a space in the team, brother, I know from now it's long. And this is one of the issues that you're getting with the manager when he does come to communicating, because I don't know if he fully meant he's just competing with Bruno, but that's what he said, and Kobbie's team have taken it as gospel, hence why at the dying embers, this is the dagger. This bomber is absolutely ridiculous, you know. Where does the team go now? My thing for sure is, if this manager, if I'm Kobbie, I'm trying to outlive this manager. I'll be honest with you, lot. That's my true thoughts. If I'm Kobbie, yes, because let's say we send him on a season-long loan. Well, what happens if this manager goes? We've now got a player of quality playing somewhere else, enjoying his football. Do you disrupt that and say come back? Because we're going to need all the players. We are going to need all the players. This is going to be a long season, and let's imagine the fact of we do get rid of Kobbie. Well, how many midfielders have we got to play the position? It's Bruno, Ugarte, Casemiro, Mason Mount. And I put Mason Mount as a deep player just in case. That for me, I'm not comfortable with that. That is not enough. That's an aging Casemiro, let's not forget. And that's a struggling Ugarte. You know what I mean? And then are we gonna say now, just because Mason Mount played all those games back to back, that he can't get injured again this season? It doesn't feel wise. Man United don't feel like this would be a silly. It's a great move for Kobbie, but it hurts Man United. And end of the day, I have to put Man United ahead of Kobbie's needs. I have to, you know, and so does the club. You know, it's difficult, man. To be honest, I do feel bad. I do feel bad for him, but this is, you know, compete and battle, really. I do hope he has it in him to fight the good fight, but I'm not holding my breath. You know, there's supposed to be important talks sometime today about Kobbie's future, but there needs to be important talks with the manager as well. They say they're going to back him, and they got no intentions of letting the manager go. Yeah, that's all good and well. But they're saying, look, Europe and everything still matters. It's still important to them. So the Burnley game, now a lot's riding on this Burnley game. If I'm Man United, I'm asking some serious questions. You know, we're saying, okay, if we are sticking with this guy, and you know, like, because you have to decide if you're sticking with this guy, with Rúben, I'm saying, then you potentially can say, well, if you don't see Kobbie as part of your plans, we let him go on loan, because he has to work crazy to get into the squad, and now you have to find a player to jump into that midfield. But if you feel like this guy is just not going to make it, you can't let Kobbie leave under any circumstances. And well, I know how I feel about this one. I know it's simple as, look, I feel like we're going towards the inevitable. And inevitable is, you know, we just don't get the results. If the manager said what he said in this last presser about the players have spoken really loud, you know, I'd be really interested to hear his presser today. But the manager's made it clear, you know, to me anyway, that he's sounding like the players are not motivated to work for him, and he can't get them to run as much as they should or give a crap. But I'm sorry to say it, your job is to motivate those players to, when they cross that white line, to give their all. That's one of your jobs. They should know what they're doing, and they should be ready every game. They should be ready. And there's new players in there, so there's really no excuses. And yes, you know, some people, like, what are we gonna do? We got rid of the apparent bomb squad. Now, are we gonna add are we gonna add a brand new group of players to a new bomb squad? Come on. Anyway, listen, people, let me know what your thoughts are. Does Man United let Kobbie leave in this window now on loan and have that thing of recalling him? What do we do? I know Chelsea done that with Chalobah, but I just don't know. I'm not feeling that. Kobbie, I would love him to fight out. I understand how he's feeling. You lot get involved in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. The story at Man United never stops, innit? It's just continuous. Stay blessed. Hopefully, I want to see the window close and he's still a Man United player personally, selfishly. Have a nice one, people. Peace.
Drop a bomb, 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 bomb.
Back with a vengeance. KG's back with an entrance. Big up to those in attendance.
Ooh, look at this.
Reds come together like Tetris. No rules, this one's reckless. None can compare with the KG done. Better take it when he drops that. Going on reckless, just it's on. It's that time when he drops that.
Bomb, bomb, bomb.
Who are you on your club?
I said drop a bomb, Dad.